Okay, welcome back to another video. In today's one, I'm going to be trying to sort out the intercooler piping, and I just started without realizing that I was filming it. But yeah, the battery and that, because I'm going to relocate the battery into the boot probably, so I can get the cooler piping coming out here and looking all nice. But it did have the tray in there, and then the white thing on this wiring, which I needed to get out of the way so I can move it out of the way, so I'll have enough room for the cooler pipe to come out of here. I'll drill some holes in here, get them to come out like the same place, and I want them like far enough forward so they come out like far enough forward here, and then your wheels won't hit them and that, like when you're on full lock and that. So I'll get into doing that. I'll just tape all this up with new electrical tape so I can get it out of the way. Might even go this way with it and cable tie it to that aircon line there. We'll see what happens anyway, but yeah. Alright, so I got my intercooler pipes out. I've got two kits here. I bought one brand new kit, and then I bought a intercooler a while ago that had like some piping come with it, and I've just kept that, and I sold the intercooler because it was the wrong size, and then I bought my other one. But yeah, so I've got all here, which I should be able to make something work. I've got like this pipe. If I drill the hole in the front here and I do another 45 off there, that should come down about right, because I need it to like 45 there so it's like stays under the bonnet, and then another 45 here to come through the guard. But yeah, and then I'll just do a 90 out of there, and then a 90 upwards and straight up there. That'll have enough room for intake in that, and a pod here as well. And I'll do a 90 off of the front of the turbo, stainless 90, and then out, and then to connect to the pod, which will go there. Alright, so I thought this thing was like sticking up way too high, but it actually, I've just put the other bonnet on there, that one I got there. It actually is just clearing this, so that's freaking awesome news for me. So I can literally use this, and then this is all clearing here, like just, and then I'll have to come down here, because just before I'm drilling these holes, I'm trying to make it like, you know, I'm trying to get it so I know exactly kind of what I'm gonna be doing. But yeah, this would just be another 45, and then probably another 45 again down into there. Okay, so I got these bottom pipes to come up to the bottom here. I just put these in there so it'll hold the pipe like kind of where I want it, just to get them right. But I've done both sides here. Coming up to my hole, I drilled the holes. This already had like a decent sized hole right here where I wanted it, so that pipe's coming pretty much dead center. Same with this one. I just use the air saw. I don't have a hole saw, so I just use the air saw to take the hole out. But now I can just work on the top part, get them sussed, and then I'll be taking them to James's to get them welded up after I mark them all and that to where they want to go. And I'm just trying to work out if I want to do it in one whole piece or just put a joiner here, but I'm not sure yet. I'll just get the piece that's going to go to there, and then I'll suss it out, see if I can will be able to put it in all at once and that. But yeah, it's coming along. Okay, we got all the piping in, brother. Don't mind the blue silicone hoses. Like I said, that where all them blue hoses are will be welded. I've just got it so it's holding the pipe in the position. But yeah, come up pretty good. They're all connected, or not, all should be mint. I'm gonna go with this sort of finish. That one's just chrome because I had two different boxes, but I will just like wire brush sort of finish it, or Scotch Brite finish, whatever they are. I actually might just test fit the bonnet one more time, make sure that is clear, and then we should be all good to take it over to James's and weld it sometime this week maybe, if he's free. I haven't really talked to him yet, but... Alright, you gotta take my word for it. Well, I'm trying to get this camera to focus in there. Oh, but yeah, it's just clear of the hood. Alright, so these are all marked. Got taped them up.
So they're in position, and then I just wrote, like that's where the turbo is, the flow of the pipe, and then part 1 driver's side, part 2 driver's side, flows that way. Part 3 driver's side, flow, part 4 driver's side, flow, and then it says front mount, because that's front mount. Come over here, flow is this way, front mount's here. Part 1 passenger side, and then part 2 passenger side with the flow, and then part 3 passenger side with the flow as well, and then part 4 passenger side with the flow. That's the way the air's flowing, it's fluid.
And then that's just up to the intake manifold up there, so just getting a video so I can know if something goes wrong, if I misplace a pipe or something. Alright, so I've been to James's, got the cooler pipes welded up. They are looking mint. He did a good job. Cheers for that, Jim Bob. And yeah, I've got them in now, all bolted in, or all hose clamped up. I'll give you a look. This is it. Went for like the brush finish, we just Scotch Brited them. So they're all the same, because I had that chrome one up there, and they were different couple pipings, but just went straight down through the car, put a bit of pinch weld, nice cutout. This one already had like a hole there, so I just like ovaled it out a bit so the hose would come down, but she looking fresh. Ooh. Alrighty, I want to give a bit of a shout out to this bloke from JDM Restorations. I stuffed up my order, and I only ordered one of these, and then he asked me, oh man, do you want 4 of them, or do you want one? I didn't realize the order was just for one. I thought it was for all 4 when I bought the stub axles, but then I just messaged him back having a bit of a laugh. I said, oh man, I thought it was for 4, and then I said, oh, I love you, bro, if you give me the 3 extra for free. And he's actually gone and done me a solid and gave me the 3 for free. So shout out to that bloke if you're ever watching this video. JDM Restorations. If you want some parts, that's where I bought my pedals from. And I've bought these because I just could not find these at all. Now I can go and get the bolts from these. I just go down the bolt shop, and I'm going to get some bolts for them that suit the axles, with the Allen key bolts, and then should be all good to throw them in. And that's the whole drive line done. Shout out to these guys. So just got back from the bolt shop. Got some Allen key bolts that go in there. Fit real nice. Screw them down. You just use that washer. Did have the other big Allen key bolt for the diff as well. The back of the diff, because I only had 2 bolts when we did put the diff in there. So I got one of them, so I can put that in. But I did realise that whoever's taken this this axle out of the car when they've gave it to me has just belted the absolute hell out of this thing to get it out, instead of using some heat and like a nice punch and getting them out actually worth it. You get these useless people these days working on cars, don't take any care of anything, just beating stuff. Bit of a rant, but you can't get anything nice now. But hey, you get that on the big jobs, eh? I'll have to try and fix that somehow, which is probably going to involve grinding all this and then trying to re-tap a thread on there, which is not what I wanted to do. But anyway, that'll be another day. I'm going for golf, gee. that'll be probably this afternoon. I'm going to go play some golf now, so later. Alright, I'm going to just try and explain these axles pretty quick. I'm just going to explain the ones for the GT86 diff because that's what I'm putting in there. But yeah, this is the ones the car before. These are the weakest ones. So they're a 4-bolt axle at the end there. Just 4 bolts. They're only a 7.5-inch stub axle with the 4 bolts on there. And it's usually like an open center diff or something. And then you put the GT86 diff in there. You'll need to go either to a Crown JZX100 axles, which is what I've bought. They're the biggest, they're the strongest. Or you can go to the Turbo JZX100 axles and you need the 8-inch stub axles. So these are brand new, which I bought. So they're 8-inch stub axles. They're the same as like a Turbo JZX100 stub axle. That's what they are, but they work with the GT86 diff. And then these are the Crown axles, so they're a little bit thicker in the center here, I'm pretty sure. Whereas the JZX100 Turbo axles, like one of these actually goes in a little bit, and they have like a more solid bit in the middle, and then it drops down a little bit, whereas this is like the same thickness the whole way through. So I think that's why they are the strongest ones, but I don't know exactly, I'm just telling you what I know. But yeah, you got the JZX Crown like JZS171 axles, that's these. They work with the 8-inch Turbo JZX stub axles, which go into the GT86 diff up there, or a JZ100 diff. And then you also have IS300 axles, which are they're the same size circle as that, but they're different bolt size, and I'm pretty sure that is the same size as well. And then you have a different CV that bolts onto there because the bolts are different size, and they're a bit weaker than these. But apparently these are all still strong axles and great axles, but I've just gone for the biggest and best ones I could get, and these are really all I could find without paying $3,000 or something crazy. But yeah, I hope that kind of explains it. You still have like other ones in there too, like from a non-turbo JZ car, which like a JZX100 non-turbo ones. I'm pretty sure they're 7.5-inch stub axle, but they're like a 6-bolt, same looking CV as this. But there's another guy on YouTube who's done like an IS300 conversion in his. I can't remember his name, but he explains it very well. So if you look on YouTube and you look up like IS300 diff swap to GT86, you'll probably find him, and he explains it really well, and he has each different type of shaft there explaining everything. So just look at that and then you'll figure it out. But I'll just say what I had to say. Okay, so if this is correct, this should just push straight into here. You just literally push it straight into the diff, and then probably just have to give it a little knock. Okay, because these are brand new, had to give it a bit of a whack. Use my mallet, but yeah, once it gets in and sits in there properly, you hear the click, and then they're sitting in there, so they actually fit. Mint. So you hear that little click? That means it's in. Alright, so I've sat here and I've grinded away some of the metal, so these nuts would just go back on because it was all damaged from someone just beating it, but they're going on mint now, ready to throw in the car. I put a whole bunch of anti-seize stuff on them just so they don't rust in there, and they'll be easy to take out next time. But they're both going on. I'll just clean them up a bit before I throw them in, and I'll show you once they're in there. Alright, so I got these axles in this end of the hub, but it got real tight at the end. I think it's because they're ABS hub, but it looks like it's clearing, and when I get a pry bar and or put the wheel on and turn it, it still turns, but it's just like it might need a self clearance or something. But if anyone knows about that, it's probably because it's a GX rear end. It's a little bit tighter or something, but like that ring, the ABS ring is inside there and it's not touching. Like it has like a tiny bit of clearance. It's just like got a bit tight once I've put it on there, but I'll show you like once it's in there, not attached to the diff, so it should just be like moving pretty freely, but like it does when I put the bar on it, I just can't move it by hand. It's just like it's got a bit of like it's hitting on something, but it does get looser and looser every time I do it, so hopefully it just needs a little bit of self clearance for that. Might be some gunk in there and that, and hopefully it's just, yeah, once I drive it, man, it'll self clear, eh? Okay, so I've just come back out this morning and I've just pulled these axles back out because of what I said, like that it was a little bit tight. And I've done some research overnight, and apparently you can knock off these ABS sensors, which I think is what the problem is, because I don't have ABS in the rear. I think that like bit of metal there is not working properly up in there, and I might be able to knock these ones off this axle onto there, but if not, I'll just put them in without the ABS sensor on and then see if it is like if this moves nice and freely like it does now, like, because at the moment it just moves freely, but when you bolt that in like that, it ends up getting tight. So I'll knock the sensor off and then I'll see if I can put the other one on, bolt it back in and see if it spins freely. Alright, so that's all they are. They're just three little like steel things, and you can just knock them straight off the end, and it still will seal up in here because it has like a seal in the back. So that's the part that goes into the bearing, and then it goes around the seal, so it will still seal your bearing off. Just won't be able to like have ABS obviously in the rear, because it won't have this part for the sensor. But yeah, that part goes into the bearing, and then this part touches, like that goes around the seal there. So it should be all sealed off. There's no reason why it should be not sealed off, and then I shouldn't have any problems with that hitting, or these hitting up there, or whatever it's doing, hopefully. So I'll throw that back in and just see. But hopefully we're all sweet. Okay, so that was the issue, that little sensor part. This thing's bolted in there now, and it moves very freely, which is what I wanted. Doesn't get stuck or jammed. Just like, you just won't have the little dust part that's in there, I don't think, but it's still all sealed onto the bearing and everything, so you're all right. Like, you're just taking the ABS ring off of there. That's pretty much it. So if you are putting JZX100 171 axles into a GX100, like without the ABS, or maybe a JZX100 without ABS in the rear, you will have to beat off them the ABS sensors. But you literally just beat them off the end, and then it fits right in, and then you're sweet as, good to go. I'll bolt it all back together, and then you can keep going on with the rest of the video. See? Alrighty, they're all in. Axle nuts back on. These are all done up in here. This is probably the most expensive rear end I've ever seen in my life, but man, hopefully it holds up to all the power and the abuse and never have to change anything, just like my S13. I did put the other bolts in the back here as well. That's all in. They're all brand new bolts up there as well, in there with the washers. Sick. Done. put the wheels back on, and that's the whole drivetrain complete in there, from motor to the wheels. Alright, the wheels back on, everything's done. That's going to be it for this video, so make sure you like, comment and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Catch you later, Simon.